Thank you again for joining another edition of AARP Foundation Experience Corps in your community. My name is O.S. Owen, and I am your host. And today we have Walter Aikens, the Community Outreach Liaison for the Africa International House. Thank you, Walter, so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
I know it's been busy. You've been busy. We've been busy trying to get you on the schedule, so thank you so much.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay, now Walter, you're with the Africa International House, and the Africa International House puts on the African Festival of the Arts. But before we get to that, tell our viewing audience, what is the Africa International House?
Well, the African International House is like the holding company. Its mission is to share the African diaspora with the community at large, share the history, the contributions that Africans and Africa has made throughout the world.
Okay. Now, we were backstage, we were talking about the Windows of Africa, and that's how the Africa International House got started. Is that correct?
Well, Patrick Woodard, who is the executive director of the African International House, which puts on the African Festival of the Arts, was a merchant, if you will. He owned Windows of Africa, and that was a shop in Hopper's Court that exported African artifacts, cloths, quilts, and those type of materials, and sort of grew out of it.
So the Africa International House is the holding company. Mm-hmm. And not only do you all put on the African Festival of the Arts, you put on some other programs in the community that I didn't know about. And I want you to share that with our viewing audience, some of the programs that the Africa International House supports before we get into the African Arts Festival.
Okay. The African International House puts on programs throughout the year. They do concerts in the park. They do soccer seminars. They even have a soccer tournament.
Is that right? When is the tournament?
I knew you'd throw that at me.
Well,
it's during the summer months.
Okay.
I've actually never attended. I'm a football. I like the other football.
Okay.
They also go into the schools in Inglewood, Southside, and teach African languages, dowel making, and that's just to name a few.
Oh, now I've been to your location, the Africa International House, and that's at the Harriet Park District.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, inside of there, you guys got this phenomenal gallery.
Yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit about the gallery and how those artists came to have their work exhibit in that gallery, and when our community can stop by and see the gallery?
Well, this will be our 31st year. 2020 will be our 31st anniversary. So throughout 31 years, this collection of artwork from around the world we have exhibited in the gallery, and which I call my office.
Now, in there, because in our relationship, we've had our paint and sips there, for our volunteers who really love the art there. Mm-hmm. But I've noticed you've got pottery things there. You've got tall items there, like 8 feet statues in there. You've got paintings. You've got stuff from all around the world. Now, these artists, where do you find these artists, or do they find Africa International House?
Well, throughout the tenure of the festival, we have partners that come in from across the country, over 300 artists by way of sculpturings, clothing, jewelry. It's just a hodgepodge of things that have been collected throughout the tour of the event.
So if in our viewing audience we have some budding artists out there who would like to contribute some of their work to the gallery, is that possible?
Absolutely. We'd love to have people come and visit the gallery anytime, Monday through Saturday.
Okay, and I understand that from the hours of 10 to 5. pretty much Monday through Saturday. You can stop by and visit the gallery. Do people need to make an appointment?
No, they could just stop over.
Okay. Now let's get into the African Festival of the Arts. This is going to be the 31 years of this phenomenal production.
Yeah.
So before we get deep into it, what's the whole mission of the festival?
Again, to share the African diaspora, the rich history, the culture, the contributions that Africans and Africa has made throughout the world.
I mean, this 4-day festival, when I'm down in the village, my favorite time in the village is in the morning. As you're setting up and you can see the different folks coming in there and they're speaking in their native tongues and it's coming alive. The music, the song, the dress, the clothing. So for me, it's just, phenomenal.
And the food.
And the food. But how did the African Festival come about? What was the impetus from the Africa International House to say, hey, we're going to put on this festival and bring everybody from around the world here to Chicago? How did that get started?
I believe it was the outpour of people that came to Windows of Africa. Started to be a small little merchant shop, and it grew and it grew. And Patrick decided to share it with the community at large.
So the first one was at the DuSable Museum.
Started at DuSable. Grew out of DuSable. Then it grew over behind the Museum of Science and Industry until we take over now most of Washington Park.
Now, when did it become a 4-day festival?
It was always a 4-day festival.
It started out as a 4-day festival.
Yeah, we have over 100,000 visitors visit the park within those 4 days. We have over 300 partners that come in and share their art, their food, and then we have world-class entertainment.
Now, just so our viewing audience knows, we partner with the African Festival of the Arts, and that Friday, that first day, is Senior Day, and the exposure to the art, to the music that our seniors get is just, phenomenal. Now, we have our volunteers that we bring down there. How do you use volunteers? And when we're talking about it, when is the normal dates of the festival? When does the festival start?
If you would like to be a volunteer, I think the appropriate time to call the African International House and you ask for Carl Washington, and he would get back with you. The volunteers help with Senior Day, with getting seniors back and forth to their transportation, or to walk with them throughout the different villages that we have during the day. They help with the stage set up and so on.
Then when would be a good time for folks to call to get that information? I mean, it's now end of the year. The festival starts in what? August. It's the latter part of August. It's right, Labor Day weekend. Is that correct?
Labor Day, the 4-day weekend of Labor Day. Correct. And then we have a gala, usually 2 weeks prior to the event, and it's a awards gala where we give awards to different trailblazers in certain categories like politics, education, religion, and so on.
And you normally do that at the...
Well, last year we did it at the Reba Logan Center, and I think we'll go back there. It's a wonderful venue to have a event like that.
Well, they support the arts. They're big art fans.
The university supports. It's been a big community partner with the festival since its existence.
Okay. So now if someone wanted to call, they would call 773-955-2787. 773-955-2787. And that's the Africa International House. And you ask for Carl Washington, and he could point you, guide you, and direct you in how to be a volunteer for the African Festival of the Arts. Now, This village is huge, Walter. I mean, it's huge. What do you call them? You don't call them villages. You've got three. What do you call them?
You know, I'm embarrassed.
Well,
there's Timbuktu.
Well, you've got three pavilions, three large pavilions.
Well, we have a health pavilion.
Health pavilion.
We have a children's pavilion.
Children's pavilion.
And health and a senior pavilion.
Okay, because we're normally between the health pavilion and the senior pavilion.
Exactly.
I mean, it's huge. It's huge. It's a 4-day festival. Now, I've been there for a couple of years now, and I have to say I've never made it through the entire village. Each and every day, I think I'm going one place, and I end up going to another place. Mm-hmm. You know. Now, the artists that come from around the world. Mm-hmm. Are they invited, or do they invite themselves? How are they contacted?
Well, I mean, that is not my lane, but they are, someone calls and we try to get them to go off their booking price because we're a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
And the proceeds help feed some of the programs that we do throughout the year.
Now, if I'm a local artist here in Chicago, and I'd like to participate at the festival, the African Festival of the Arts, and I wanted my art to be featured there, do I call 773-955-2787?
You certainly do.
Is my work, does it have to be auditioned, or you just take me as I come?
I take you as you come.
So anybody and everybody that's an artist or art-minded that has art they would like for the public to view can participate in the African Festival of Arts.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Now, 31 years. What can you tell us about 31 years of putting on this festival in the community? I mean, it takes over the corner of 51st and Cottage Grove all the way down to 51st and Evans, all the way, Langley, all the way down to 55th Street. What can you tell us about this 31-year festival? It's more than just what you're saying.
Well, it's our visitors are diverse. Africa was the beginning, and then you've got the Jamaicans. It's a hodgepodge of people, the world, and everyone has a great time.
You know, I hear the many different languages, and by being a native of Chicago, and when I'm down there, I'm transported into another place, into another time. You know, as I sit in the mornings when people are setting up for the day, I hear a certain type of noise. I hear the laughter. I hear the cackling. And then by midday, it changes into more of a marketplace. And then by the evening, it's showtime.
It's showtime.
I mean, you have events throughout the whole entire day. Mm-hmm. So, my question is that if I wanted to enjoy all of the festival, and I'd be remiss without talking about the food courts. Mm-hmm. Basically, tell our viewing audience about the food court, because it's designed just to have nothing but food in there.
It's designed for nothing but food. You have food from Jamaica. You have your jerk chicken, jerk fish. You have food from different places in Africa. Then you have your American. I want to say Harold's Chicken is there. Then you have your different homemade ice creams.
Okay. Now, I've always found a lot of excitement in the drum circle. Mm-hmm. Do you know how that got started? Can you share with us?
Well, what I can say to you is in Africa and in the villages, the seniors or elders, they sit around and they play drums, and it's their way of doing folktale, telling stories, passing on to the younger generation. And they do it by sitting around and playing drums.
I found it fascinating to watch the young people sitting in that drum circle, learning how to play the drums. And it's more than just playing the drums. They were telling a story. Exactly. And I could hear the elders with their techniques and their styles to get different sounds and different rhythms.
And the dancers that dance in that circle.
Now, does the Africa International House support any programs like the drum circle in the schools? Can young people find out more about that culture through the African International House?
Yeah, I would just say if you just give us a call, we'd be happy to come out and share that. As a matter of fact, the drum circle, those gentlemen, will be at our pre-Kwanzaa event today and tomorrow and Saturday. So we have a pre-Kwanzaa marketplace with plenty of activities going on.
Okay, and that's where?
At the African International House at the Harriet Harris Park District.
Okay, look out for our viewing audience to say that.
The Harriet Harris Park District, and that's 63rd and Drexel.
Well, 6200 South Drexel.
Gotcha.
Okay, if you go to 63rd and Drexel, now you're at your famous eating place, right?
Yeah, damn.
Okay, so 6200 South Drexel, it's the Harriet Park, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's the pre-Kwanzaa celebration. If you're so inclined, it's Friday and Saturday from the hours of?
Tomorrow is from 2 to 8, and Saturday from 9 to 4.
Okay. If you're just tuning in, we're here with Walter Aikens, the Community Outreach Liaison for the Africa International House. And my name is O.S. Owen, and I am with the AARP Foundation Experience Corps, and we're constantly looking for volunteers. You can reach us at 312-660-8665, and we're looking for folks 50 and over to be volunteer tutors and mentors for kindergartners, first graders, second graders, and third graders in the Chicago Public Schools. And I have to say, Walter, we always have a great time at the festival. We do recruit volunteers from the festival. They come and they partake in the activities that we have there. And they always tell us that, gee, why are you guys out here? And we're out here in the community because everybody goes to the festival. It's been going on for 31 years. And we do well there. We are able to reach, it's over 100,000 people. You know, on my sign-in sheet, I have well over 75 to 100 individuals that we actually sit down and talk with for more than just 35 seconds.
And just let me, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but we appreciate your partnering with us for the last 2 years. We appreciate AARP's foundation as well as the state. So we look forward to growing that community outreach for you.
Well, this is why we're here. We want to talk about what we do in the community and who we do it with. And who would better be than the African Festival of the Arts and the African International House. You've got great space down there in the park, and we've held our paint and sips there. And our volunteers are inspired by the artwork that's in the gallery. And then our volunteers are even more inspired being a volunteer at the festival, and especially for our folks that are 50 and over. They get a wonderful thrill to see the young people to come out to be exposed to the African diaspora, to understand the culture and the heritage and how rich and what a wonderful legacy. And for you guys to have the vision to bring all of that into one unique space for 4 days, it's just simply fantastic. And we want to encourage you out there, if you have any interest or desire to volunteer with the African Festival of the Arts, please call 773-955-2787. And I'd say start calling now. Even though December is here and the festival starts in August, time goes by quickly. I know you guys start planning for the next festival right after this festival. Now, talk about the entertainment. I mean, you guys got from hip-hop to jazz to blues. Talk about that.
Well, just last year, I just have to say, it was so great to have a Chicago talent, Teresa Griffin. She blew it up.
Yes, she did.
And she had just got off the plane from Rome. So, I mean, she was incredible.
Well, you had her, you had Ohio Players. Yeah. It was phenomenal. And you know what? And let me say this to our viewing audience. There was not one incident throughout the whole 4 days. We had folks that were out there having a wonderful time. They were being exposed to the art. They were eating, they were dancing, and they were singing. And we didn't have not one incident. So when people coming together to celebrate and to honor and recognize our history and our legacy, we don't have no problems. Now, the role that you play with the festival, what role is that?
Well, actually, I reach out for community partners so that we can actually put the festival on. Without the community sponsorships or support
participation.
and participation, this would never happen. So my job is to reach out to them, make sure that their footprint or activation while they're on the grounds is satisfactory, and just make sure everything goes smoothly.
Well, I have to say, you guys take great care of us. And I know we were very demanding, especially this year. We had some issues, and you guys quickly resolved them. So we want to thank you for that, and we want to continue to encourage you guys to keep moving forward, because I know it's quite a challenge.
Yes,
I mean,
it is.
it takes you, 8 months to plan this festival?
Yeah.
So when are you guys going to start planning the 31st year?
We're in planning now.
So if anyone out there is interested in participating in the marketplace, they can call you right now
Yes, yes.
at 773-955-2787, 773-955-2787, and that's Walter Aikens, and he's the Community Outreach Liaison for the Africa International House. And this year is going to be 31 years of the African Festival of Arts. And I encourage each and every one of you to come out and just see your history, see your legacy, and be a part of it. The music is phenomenal, the food is great, but even more important, the people, the different languages, the different folks. I mean, I see people that look like me, but they sure don't sound like me. They talk in a different language, they have a different way of living, and they're so open and so friendly and to share that with me. And I just feel like I'm teleported to another place and to another time.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been with the African International House, Walter?
It's been 3 years for me. So I guess I'm going into my 4th year.
So, what's your personal story that connects you to this festival and to why you do what you do at the African International House?
I love the interaction with the brothers and sisters that I meet that are from Africa. Their willingness to want to share the culture that we so much that we don't know about our culture.
Yes.
And it's just a joy. The joy to bring a diverse market together, a diverse people together, and have a wonderful time.
So now, so it's the 31st year. What can you tell us? Anything spectacular you guys got planned for this year?
I can't share that. I mean, it's still in the making, but it's going to be a wonderful 31st anniversary.
Share a little bit about the collaboration with the University of Chicago. I mean, they have a wonderful, their place in the, correct me if I'm wrong now, in the health pavilion.
Yes.
Because I sit right next to them. But share that relationship with us. How do you guys collaborate, and when did that start?
Well, their civil engagement department has always been a big part of reaching out to the African International House to assist and enhance what we're trying to do. And it's the University of Chicago Medicine Center.
And that's why they're located in the health pavilion.
Yes. And they take great pride in having speakers, rotating speakers in that pavilion on preventive measures for the seniors and for the community at large.
So now, that first day, that Friday, is Senior Day.
Yes.
Walk me through it.
Walk you through it. Well, we take great pride in inviting the seniors out for the first day. I think we open up at 1 o'clock and we close at 9. So we get to, and I have to say, Carl Washington, who is my colleague with the festival, reaches out to the senior population and takes great pride in securing transportation and just a community, a sea of seniors.
Well, I saw seniors dancing, seniors singing. There was a band playing, and it was folks that looked like me and older than me, and they were getting down. They were just having just a wonderful time. So I bring out my volunteers to share some of that, and I think they appreciate the activities, and they see themselves as we transition. To say that just because we're aging doesn't mean that we stop living, we stop dreaming, we stop performing. We don't stop. And it's not what happens to us, it's how we respond that determines the quality of their life.
Yes.
And I always use the festival as an opportunity to thank my volunteers and to expose them. So, looking out to the audience, I want to say thank you all again for coming to the festival. I have to give a special shout out to our stellar producer, Black Butterfly. Without him, we could not make this happen. Thank you, Walter, for joining us in the studio today.
Thank you for having me.
My name is O.S. Owen, and I'm your host, and I'm with the AARP Foundation, and we'll see you in the community. Thanks again for tuning in. Until next time.